The regular meeting for the Aurora City Council for Monday, January 22nd, 2024 is called to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Bergen.
Here.
Councilmember Coombs.
Present.
Councilmember Gardner.
Here.
Councilmember Hancock.
Present.
Councilmember Drinsky.
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
Here.
Councilmember Medina.
Here.
Councilmember Murillo.
Present.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Announcement for the public call-in line.
City Council welcomes feedback from the public on both matters appearing on the agenda and during public invited to be heard. If you would like to speak and have not already spoken to an operator, please press *3. For those watching on Channel 8, call 855-695-3475 and press *3 when connected. You will hear a prompt confirming you are in line to speak to an operator and then be able to continue listening to the meeting. When the operator comes on the line, please be ready to give them your name and agenda item you wish to speak on. Keep in mind you must press *3 before the city clerk reads the title of the item you wish to speak on. Finally, as a reminder, council does not allow comments about any items on the agenda during public invited to be heard. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes, and public invited to be heard is limited to 1 hour in total.
El Consejo Municipal de la Ciudad de Aurora da la bienvenida a la opinión de sus habitantes y otros vecinos en asuntos comparecientes en la agenda y durante la invitación a la audiencia. Esta sesión tiene disponible interpretación al español. Por favor, háganos saber si usted necesita este servicio. Recuerde que el Consejo no permite comentarios de la audiencia mientras se dirigen asuntos de la agenda del día. Por favor, confirme su turno y espere a la invitación para comentario público. Gracias.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and then the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please assume a moment of silence for remembering the lives lost in the Middle East. Thank you. Executive session update. During executive session, we discussed procurement matters, water procurement matters. We discussed contract matters concerning real property, and we discussed personnel issues, and we discussed litigation. Approval of the minutes, January 8, 2024. A motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve the minutes from January 8th.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek, seconded by
Sundberg.
Councilmember Sundberg, to approve the minutes from January 8, 2024. Discussion?
Mayor,
Councilmember Coombs.
I'll be abstaining because I wasn't present.
Very well. Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the approval of the minutes from January 8, 2024.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
The motion passes to adopt the council minutes from January 8th, 2024.
Holocaust Remembrance Day, is there anyone here for that? Councilmember Drinsky, would you do me a favor, read the proclamation? Thank you.
Whereas whereas from 1933 to 1945, 6 million Jews were murdered in the Nazi Holocaust as part of a systematic program of genocide, and whereas millions of other people were persecuted, imprisoned, and perished as victims of Nazism based on political, ideological, and behavioral grounds as a result of their sexual orientation, disability, race, or religion, and whereas the people of the city of Aurora should always remember the atrocities committed by the Nazis, and whereas the people of the city of Aurora should rededicate themselves to the principle of equal justice for all people, and whereas the people of the city should remain eternally vigilant against all tyranny and recognize that hatred and bigotry provide a breeding ground for tyranny to flourish, and whereas it is appropriate for the residents of Aurora to join with the United States Holocaust Memorial Council in the commemoration. Now, therefore, I, Michael Kaufman, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim January 27th, 2024 as Holocaust Remembrance Day. I just want to say, the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in this city, they added a line in here that says, whereas the people of the city of Aurora should always remember. I appreciate the idea, I appreciate the thought behind this. I am the only Jewish member of council, but every day for some of us is Holocaust Remembrance Day. This is a nice gesture, but it should be always.
Councilmember Angela Lawson. And if there's anybody here for Black History Month, if you please come forward.
Whereas with the story of African Americans, the story of America would be incomplete. Black History Month, first proposed by scholar Carter G. Woodson in 1926, seeks to rightfully restore the struggles and triumphs of African Americans into our national narrative. And whereas during February, our city pauses to reflect on the injustices and struggles fought and overcome by African Americans throughout our nation, history, and to pay tribute to the battles they have fought in the name of equality, such as the Underground Railroad, Emmett Till's murder, the Woodward student and Montgomery bus boycotts, Bloody Sunday, and the March on Washington. And whereas while this work is far from finished, Woodson's vision for Black History Month and all who have taken up this cause have helped to tell the whole story of America and everyone who built it. And whereas African Americans have contributed to the rich fabric and diversity of the city of Aurora and have made significant strides in civil rights, law, medicine, technology, food, music, literature, education, sports, entertainment, journalism, and the arts. And whereas during this Black History Month, let us continue to draw inspiration from the past as we continue our journey toward a more perfect future. We must all commit ourselves to building an Aurora where we can remember the sacrifices and celebrate the contributions made by African Americans in our community, in Colorado and throughout our nation. Now, therefore, I, Mike Kaufman, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2024 as Black History Month. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Aurora, Colorado, to be affixed this 22nd day of January 2024. And I just want to say, we all need to remember the contributions that African Americans have contributed in our country. And I think that's every day. When we look at things that are built in our country, when we look at things that we're looking that we celebrate in our country, a lot of it comes from African Americans. And I think we need to make sure that we're celebrating those contributions in general every day, not only just in February. And I will give you this.
Hi, thank you very much, Mayor and City Council. My name is Tracy Bradford Walker. I am the president of BAFABA, Black Employees for a Better Aurora. And every year, we give a luncheon. And our luncheon is on the last Friday of the month. and it is going to be this year at Beck Recreation Center from noon to 1:30 p.m. Everyone is invited, and we have a great time, and I know the mayor comes and eats a lot of food. So it's a great thing. This year, we are celebrating the arts. African Americans and the arts, and so we've invited a lot of students from CCA to come and showcase their work, showcase their art, film, and all that kind of stuff. So everybody's invited, and we just sent the flyer out, and I guess it will be in the news letter this starting on the 1st. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Did you reach out to somebody to receive that from the community? Oh, I know. I'll ask.
I'm back in business. Public invited to be heard.
Yes, we have Kenneth Shaw, followed by Robbie DeYoung.
Well, I had no idea it'd be the first, but diversity is fantastic because it makes us all better. I've got 3 minutes to tell you a story. I'm a car wash developer. As a car wash developer, I see what is, but what it can be. And on a wash located at 16720 East Iliff at the corner of Buckley and Iliff, I walked into a 12-bay car wash in August of the COVID year, 2020, and I saw a beautiful car wash. So over the subsequent years, I built that beautiful car wash. But then guess what happened? All the criminals in my area saw a target. So I opened August 1st, and in August, I had my first attack. A Penske truck drove up to my front door and tried to destroy the front door and take away the heart of my operation. Thank goodness God was smiling on me and said, hey, you ain't going to get the heart of this operation, because it would have put me out of business. That cost $23,000. Then, in November, I had a respite for a few months. I had someone break in and take $600 out of a pay station. I gave that to the police. I gave everything to the police, photos, cameras, so forth. I don't blame the police for this. What is happening in our community right now affects all of us, and we're all at risk. When I go to the other retailers at my retail center, they all say the same thing. We have to create a vigilante group to protect ourselves. I'm a car wash guy. I just want to wash cars and make people happy, because when people leave my car wash, they have a clean car, they're happy. However, here's what I do every night. All these instances have happened between 2 and 6 o'clock in the morning. So I get out of bed and go to my laptop and watch the cameras at 2 o'clock. And I watch them for 4 hours. Now, I don't blame the police for this, because the officers that I've talked to have been fantastic, and they care, and they want to do their job. Something is missing, and the council must know this and address it in some way. How many police chiefs have we had in the last 3 years? That's a problem. I mean, we're all Bronco fans, I think, so I'll use this as an analogy. When Bolin was the leader of that organization, they were great. Bolin dies, and every leader after that has failed and failed miserably. So what I'm saying, does that mean I should hurry up and finish? Okay.
Your time is up, but.
So what I'm
I would
saying
like
is that it
contact
starts with the
information.
top and it's leadership.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Your 3 minutes is up.
Yeah. Thank you, and I'll follow up with you.
Is that it?
Yes, thank you.
Did I send my message? I
You
hope.
did. You did great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robbie DeYoung, followed by Alice Taylor.
Hi, everyone. On January 16th, the Commerce City Police Department filed charges against a man for attempted first-degree murder, second-degree motor vehicle theft, and felony eluding. One man was injured. What did he do? He tried to self-recover his stolen vehicle, and he brought some friends with him. When the vehicle was found, it was not found by itself, it was found with another stolen vehicle. The man saw the owner coming, the victim coming up to retrieve his truck, and he got out of the man's stolen vehicle and shot the victim. Then he took off in the original stolen vehicle. Now, the man that shot the victim, he took off running. The police found him. And with the help of not only Commerce City, but Aurora and Denver police, the man was caught and is now in jail. This is why I always am telling the people that follow my group that you should not self-recover your vehicle. It's too dangerous, and it's best to leave that up to the police. So that's the first thing I want to touch base on. Second thing is, and this is a little different for me, the U.S. accounts for 14 trillion pounds of CO2 each year. A single tree absorbs, one single tree absorbs 48 pounds per year of CO2. Now, there are 228 billion trees in the U.S. If you multiply that 48 pounds that each tree does by the number of trees, the 228 billion, you come up with 11 trillion pounds of CO2 that is absorbed. So of the total 14 trillion that the U.S. puts out, 11 trillion of that is taken care of by our trees. So my first thought is plant more trees. But trees aren't the only thing that absorb CO2. Our plants, our shrubs, our gardens, it can all be taken care of, and we don't need all of this other junk
Thank you.
that they're coming up with.
Alice Taylor, followed by Darshell Harlan.
I am here tonight to speak of my community that's been taken over by encampments. And off of South Idalia, Mississippi, I've called Access Colorado several times. They always come and clean it up. They come back, which we all know that's what they do. But my most concern right now is that there's an encampment on the side of the U-Haul at South Idalia in Mississippi where there is a school bus stop. Today, I seen the guy, he was sitting there smoking on a pipe. I've seen the police there, but nothing has been removed. My concern is the children getting off the school bus stop there. Is at South Idalia and Arizona. Also, my second concern is the other day, I seen decent disposure going on. A guy was in a bucket using the bathroom. There is a lot there, but they do not stay there because prairie dogs live there. There's a big lot, and they always come and clean it. So my thing is maybe if they can put a big fence around it. I think who owns that property is a company in California. So that's my most concern, because in my community, I've been living here 28 years. I am a taxpayer, and our townhouses are not selling out because of all the trash, and it's dangerous for the children also. So we really need help. If they can help us, I would really appreciate it. My community would appreciate it. That's all I really have to say. And the cleaning, just trash is just everywhere, up and down Mississippi. I have asked them, I don't know what's going on, where they're not cleaning the curbs from Alameda to Isla, but it's just trash. Like I said, I've been living over 28 years. I'm retired. Me and my husband cannot just jump up and move, but it's making our property value go down. But Colorado Access have been working. They will come and clean it, but they come right back. So when they find out it's prairie dogs, then they don't stay, but they leave all their trash. Just like the other day, somebody just took a big black bag of trash and just threw it out in the middle of the street. I mean, we just need help in that area, and especially for the children. That's all I have to say, and I want to thank everybody.
Thank you.
Hope y'all can work on that.
Please give me your contact.
Please give me her information as well.
Darshell Harlan, followed by Angelia Baker.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I have two concerns. One is the speeding that's happening on Alameda East and westbound. I've been a resident in the Sierra Ridge townhomes for 16 years, and I've seen obviously an uptake in the speed. You know, I had small children. You know, I'm next to, like I said, there's a playground there, and just last week, there was a accident where the car hit one of the townhomes. So I know there's no way to kind of stop the speeding, but I wish that we could get some help as far as maybe getting a traffic light put up, speed bumps, because basically when you're going east on Kalispell and that light is green, they literally are racing from Kalispell to Buckley. And the speed limit is 40, and I can tell you, asking a lot of people, they don't even know what the speed limit is. So I'm here today to ask you to please, please look into this. This is the second accident. Last year in April, we had another accident happen where they took the street light out, and where my residence is now, it's pitch black. You can't even see your hand in front of your face. So there's been an uptake in crime. I've put lights up there. They've been stolen. And I'm just asking for some help with trying to reduce the speed and trying to maybe get a traffic light. And I've been working with Excel. I have text messages. I have phone calls. I have videos if you need to see them. But I do want something to happen because I'm just feeling a little unsafe. And that's where my two concerns today. But I thank you for your time and letting me speak.
Thank you. Please give me your contact information as well.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Angelia Baker, followed by Richard Safford.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council and community. My name is Angelia Baker, as you've heard. I am a proud resident of Ward Number 5. I come to you to address the lack of community resources in both South Aurora and for our seniors and for our residents. As someone who was laid off from a company who was a pillar of our community for 75 years and who has struggled to find permanent employment, I have personally experienced the challenge in finding resources in South Aurora. There are no community resources in South Aurora, or they are very limited. There are no community outreach centers where individuals can get job skills readiness, and financial support. 211 is outdated, and even they say that Arapahoe County is limited on resources because there is a deficit in our community and that we are not eligible for ARPA funds. I find that hard to believe in this great city. I'd like to see more community resources in South Aurora geared towards seniors and those that reside in ward numbers 5 and 6. It seems as though a lot of our resources are going to our North Aurora community and helping our migrants and our long-standing members of our community that are seniors, that are retired, are being ignored. I'm hoping that you can take a look at that, and so that we are not exhausting our 401ks to survive, that we don't have the resources to survive within our communities that we've lived for over years. My only ask of this new council tonight is to consider budgets, grants, and helping all citizens of Aurora's when it comes to community outreach and resources. Not just in 1 wards, not just in 2 and 4 and other wards that are not being seen, but considerably looking at all citizens of Aurora. And that is my only ask of you tonight. Thank you for your time, Mayor and Council.
Richard Safford, followed by Eric Shanholzer.
I guess it's time to separate government from politics. They seem to walk hand in hand till it hits at home, then it becomes government. And when politicians are not taking it upon themselves to do what they've been elected to do, I have to try to do it myself. I've been very stressed out this week. The sign is on my Dodge pickup truck in front of my house, legally parked. It says, this vehicle is legally parked parallel to the curb. With current legal license, it is driven every few days. Please do not ticket or tow. So I get this from Park Aurora, which are contractors hired by the city. I think maybe the supervisor works for the city, but no one else. Okay, parking, please. You know, here it goes. It says, so I'm cited for, this vehicle has been marked as abandoned on public property. If the vehicle does not move at least 100 feet within 7 days, it will be subject to ticketing. It remains at the location without moving after being ticketed. The vehicle will be subject to impoundment. Also, another box checked, parked 5 feet from a driveway. Not even a specific driveway. The old 5-foot rule, and I'm going to get into how it should have been removed many years ago. Right after that, it says something about 7 days to deal with the issue. 2 days later, I get a parking ticket with a threat to impound my pickup truck. This is my father's old Dodge truck. It's got 32,000 miles on it. It's not abandoned. It's got brand new tires. I just paid the insurance premium, and I pay to have a license tag on it every year. And 5 feet from what? I even asked, I said, can it be 5 feet from my own driveway? The contractors that you guys hired says there is a law, and it has to be 5 feet or further. So I could get in that same truck, which I did, and drove for 2 or 3 blocks. I saw 12, 14. You could drive around and find 100 of them, probably within less than an hour, that are 5 feet, 4 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet. So if you think about it, between 2 driveways, if you got a vehicle, you got to get 5 feet on one side to one driveway, 5 feet on the other side to the other driveway. That's 10 foot of parking space wasted. If a person cannot get out of their own driveway with a foot or 2 foot of clearance to get out, they shouldn't be driving. They should not be driving. They shouldn't have a license. And to harass a senior citizen by threatening to impound his truck is unheard of. So the guy, the supervisor, finally says, I tell you what, we'll show that fine that you're supposed to pay. We'll show that as a warning. I said, yeah, but here's the big question. I can't park my own truck in front of my house.
Sir, your 3 minutes are
Time is
up.
up. Thank you.
So there's no resolution. I moved the truck, it's in the driveway.
I'll follow up.
And Mayor?
Jimmy, yes. Councilmember Bergen.
Yeah, Richard, you did reach out to me as well. I believe our parking manager has responded to this gentleman.
Eric Shanholzer, followed by Tanya Tabachek.
Lots of us here talk today. All right, no poems today, I'm sorry. First of all, I want to say I'm happy to see that everybody is here today. This is the first time I can remember that everybody actually showed up. It's cool. And I'm not angry. This is also cool. So I think everybody has noticed the little signs that have been put up at intersections saying that we should not give money to panhandlers. Panhandling sounds like a job. Sounds respectable. You want to put it on your resume. If we would change those, it'd be a lot more effective. Call them beggars. That's what they are. That's what they've been called for centuries. And maybe people will figure out and stop giving them the money, so they'll stop impeding traffic. All right, that's all. Thanks.
Tanya Tabachek.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. The first thing I'd probably want to address is the migrants. I know that Denver, they're getting more and more overflowed. And even Denver Health, I heard, was going bankrupt. I don't know. But then they're rolling over to Aurora, and you're seeing, you can't distinguish between migrants and homelessness people because they're in the middle of the dividends wanting to windshield wiper your car. So it's just scary. I mean, so we need to figure out a game plan with that to work with Denver or something better than what it is right now. The second thing that I wanted to mention is I wanted to give kudos to Chief Acevedo, wish him well and his family and so forth. He's going to be sorely missed. On that note, I know I watched the news statement on that, and I guess a question was presented to city manager and so forth about, okay, when are we going to have an actual chief and not another interim chief? And I know that that's been on hold right now until figure out the next steps. But Morris has been following Chief Acevedo for the last 6 months, so I don't know how much longer one needs. And we don't want to lose her too before giving her some kind of job presentation and allow the public to vet her and see what she is and see who she is and so forth. And also, like I said, get the people invited, and also dealing with the speed. That's another thing, but the main thing was the police, so thank you.
Okay, and we have one person on the call-in line.
Susan, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. Hello, this is Susan Tabachek, and I'm calling regarding the chief of police. I am really upset that we lost our current chief of police, interim one. I don't know what's going on. I'm not too confident of the city manager because I'm just not confident of, I don't know who's his boss, but I do know that I'm sorry we lost the interim chief. I can't hardly say his name. So I do hope that we start getting this new interim chief vetted or whatever, make her a chief, make her the chief of police. Because I hope what we're not doing is, and I know a lot of companies and government agencies do this, is they run all these interim people and they get them going and then they decide they don't want them just so they can present one of their own from inside the department. So I hope we're not doing that, city manager, because that is something that does happen. And the other thing is that I don't call them beggars. I have spoken to a couple of the immigrants that are standing on the corners in front of businesses with their children because they don't have the money to survive. They are immigrants. They have a hard time speaking English. They didn't ask to come to Colorado. They needed to come to America because America is full of immigrants. In fact, the majority of all our parents and everything were immigrants. And so, yes, there is a difference between the homeless and the immigrants, and they are not beggars. I think they're working. Oh my God, the homeless don't like to work. But we have these immigrants who want to do as much as they can, and they need to be able to support their family. So, like I said, I hope we're not playing games with this chief of police business and trying to get our own in from Aurora. But you know, I'm going to be watching if that's what we're doing. Now, this new intern chief, we need to get her done, and we need to make her the chief so that we can have a better police department, one that the police officers can respect and know they're stable. And that's all I have to say. My name's Susan Tabachek.
That was the last person.
Land acknowledgement. The City of Aurora acknowledges that we gather on the territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Ute, Arapaho, and Lakota peoples, past and present. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Indigenous peoples have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that these nations have to their traditional homelands and to their vital place in the ecosystem are renewed and reaffirmed, and we are called upon to be better stewards of the land we inhabit as we continue to work to meet the needs of our entire community. Motion is in order for the adoption of the agenda.
Mayor, I move to adopt the agenda.
Moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by?
Bergen.
Seconded by Councilmember Bergen. Discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of the agenda.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
the motion passes to adopt the agenda.
Next question before us is the consent calendar motions, items number 10C1 through 10C7.
Mayor, motion to approve 10C1 through 10C7.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by?
Sundberg.
Councilmember Sundberg to adopt the consent calendar motions, items number 10C1 through 10C7. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
the motion passes to adopt the consent calendar for motions.
Adoption of the consent calendar resolutions and ordinances, items number 11A1 to 11B2.
Mayor,
Councilmember Bergen.
motion to approve 11A1 through 11B2.
Moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by?
Hancock.
Seconded by Councilmember Hancock.
And Mayor, we have one person who signed up for item 11A5.
Very well. Please proceed.
Richard Stafford.
I just want to say that, I'm 200% behind a homeless shelter to get people off the street. I think it's the right thing to do. But I would add this to it. If they're citizens of the United States, they should be offered shelter. If not, it should be filled up completely with citizens before anyone is offered shelter. because we have homeless people out there that are U.S. citizens who might maybe stay on the street while you're housing illegal immigrants. Basically, you're housing criminals, okay? It shouldn't be a priority over housing U.S. citizens. That may be harsh, but there's only so much money to go around.
Did I get motion? Okay. Motion is in order on the adoption of the consent calendar. We did? Oh, you did, okay.
The consent agenda.
Okay, and it was seconded by? Okay. Discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to remove 11A5. I don't need a presentation, but I'd like a vote on it.
Very well.
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to remove 11A4.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar resolutions and ordinances. Item number 11A1 through 11A3 and 11A6 through 11B2. Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question.
The motion passes to adopt the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances with items 11A4 and 11A5 removed.
Clerk, now please read the title to 11A4.
Item 11A4 is Resolution 2024-04, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado to amend Section D7, Appendix 1, and Section A7 of the Rules of Order and Procedure for Aurora, Colorado City Council.
Motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve item 11A4.
Moved by Councilmember Jurinsky, seconded by
Zavonic.
Mayor Pro Tem Zavonic. Discussion on the adoption of 11A4. Councilmember Coombs.
Thank you. Yeah, so in reading through this, I think the sections on respectful workplace are appropriate and seem like updates that just need to be made. However, in looking at the prior two sections, the one being that only mayor, council member, city manager, et cetera, may be on the dais. I was contacted after the meeting with the swearing in where I had my child with me while being sworn in and then with me on the dais, and was told that there would be a rule change to prohibit having my child on the dais and written in this way, and was asked, could you simply agree to not do that in order to respect the wishes and the concerns of your colleagues, to which I said yes, that I would, if needed, take the meeting virtually from my office if there was an instance when I needed to have my child present. So this doesn't affect me because I've already agreed to not do this. Who it probably would affect is a mom that's nursing a tiny little baby that now is no longer permitted to be on the dais during that time. And it creates a situation where it just makes it harder for other moms who maybe don't have the options that I have. So I don't see it as necessary. I've agreed to not do the thing that bothered my colleague that brought this about. And again, potentially harmful to other people who may not have any options in that situation. And the second change regarding seating is concerning, right? We are adults elected to do a job, and the rules have a seating order in them. And I don't think that we should just change that based on our personal preference. It's there for a reason, right, to establish seniority among the members who are based on where you're seated. And to say, well, I just don't feel like sitting next to a particular person, so I should be able to change the rules for my personal feelings and my personal preferences, it's just not appropriate. We should be able to, as adults, accept our seating assignment and move forward. So I will not be supporting this.
Further discussion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Bergen.
Yeah, just to address on the child care issue, and I understand, but we do actually have a virtual option. So I don't think there'd be any situation where that would hurt a mother that has a child and couldn't get child care or was nursing, because we do have the virtual option. I think, Councilmember Lawson and I have been here for just over 8 years, and this is a professional meeting, and we, I think the rule is a good rule. I understand, exceptions, but I think it's, with the virtual option, we shouldn't have a concern on that.
Councilmember Truinsky.
Thank you. That's exactly the point that I was going to bring up, that any mother on this council would be given the virtual option to take care of their child however they need to take care of their child and still be a part of this meeting. The second concern that my colleague has, well, it kind of stems from the first concern. That night, I tried to ask you to go virtually that night. I tried to handle it that night between you and I, and that didn't happen. So I lost all trust when tissues were flying, tissue boxes were flying, an entire glass of water was poured on Councilmember Angela Lawson. We all had to move our things. It was one thing after another after another. I tried to that night have a conversation one-on-one and handle it on the spot and ask my colleague to go virtual. That didn't happen. As far as seniority goes, Councilmember Medina and I have the exact same seniority, so it hasn't changed seniority at all. All it did is change the order of our last names. And the way the rule reads, you have to agree. So both council members have to agree. It can't come to a vote. Both council members have to willingly agree to want to change their seats. So that's freedom, not force. And I think that these rule changes are absolutely necessary.
Further discussion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Murillo.
Thank you. No, I am glad that there's, consideration for parents who might need to bring their kids. I will say, we know that the virtual option isn't always the most effective, right? There's lags in terms of timing. So I still hear that concern that Councilmember Coombs raised. As far as the overall changes, I think there's some good ones, but I am disappointed to hear that within them, it's couched in some preferences of a particular council member. And I don't think that that's fair. Sounds like the situation is remedied moving forward. So I just want to be clear that we're making these changes based on a council member's preference, not necessarily from a good process standpoint. This is my 7th year on council. We've never had a change or rule change like this. Whether you've liked the person or not liked the person that you sat next to, I think it's disappointing that that's kind of just tucked into this package of changes. I don't appreciate that that's how this has been rolled out and kind of framed. So I'm disappointed that that's kind of how it's being positioned, and that people can't behave on the dais and just be professionals. Yeah, thank you.
Mayor.
I'm sorry. Councilmember Hancock.
To the first point, as a mother, we all make concessions and we understand what the job is when we do it. This body should be treated with dignity and respect. And for me, as the newest council member who has observed over repeated times having infants on the dais, and it's disruptive and distracting, and I believe that it inhibits our ability to do our business effectively. And the night that I was sworn in, to have a screaming child on the dais is hard on the child. Let's think about the child, not to mention disruptive and distracting to those who witness the event. It minimized the dignity and the honor and the professionalism of this body. And we need to keep that in mind first and foremost, the respect for this body. And the fact that someone has to be told this is a problem, that it's inappropriate to have a screaming child on the dais, that's concerning to me. I mean, someone shouldn't have to tell you that. And to have this be a rule, yeah, I have some concerns about it, but the fact that it has to be a rule because someone's not using good judgment is problematic. I think at the end of the day, we must remember that this is a body of people who are doing business on behalf of our city. And as such, it should be treated with the dignity and the respect that it deserves.
Mayor.
Councilmember Gardner.
Yeah, we have real serious issues going on in the city. We have people living on the streets. We have businesses being broken into. We have staff sitting out here that really want to go home. I don't really care where you all want to sit, so I'd like to call for the question.
Councilmember Gardner made a motion to call for the question. Is there a second?
Second.
And it's been seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek. It's a non-debatable motion. Call for the question on the call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman?
Mayor votes yes.
The motion passes with 10 yes votes, 1 no vote from Councilmember Coombs to end debate and call for the main question.
Okay. Question now before us is the adoption of item number 11A4. Call for the question.
The motion passes with 9 yes votes, 1 no vote from Councilmember Coombs to approve item 11A4.
Will the clerk now please read the title to item number 11A5?
Item 11A5 is Resolution 2024-05, approving the acquisition of real property not to exceed $26,500,000 plus incidental expenses and closing costs by the City of Aurora from Pool 4 Finance LLC and Pool 4 TRS LLC of the Crown Plaza Hotels for the use of Aurora Regional Navigation Campus.
Motion is in order.
Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, motion to approve item 11A.
Move
5.
14A.
No.
Oh, 11A. Oh, I'm sorry. Got ahead of myself. It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek, seconded by
Bergen.
seconded by Councilmember Bergen to approve item number 11A5. Did she read the resolution?
Yeah.
Oh, she did. Oh, gosh. Discussion.
Mayor.
Councilmember Gardner.
Thank you. I've gone around and around about this one, and I really struggle with it because, you know, we obviously need to figure out a way to find housing for folks when we abate camps in our community. I'm not going to support this. I don't feel like this is the best use of taxpayer dollars in Aurora, the lowest and best use. I feel like there are less expensive ways that we can accomplish this same goal. I think we can look to our neighbors to the west as what's happened over the last several months and years. If you build it, they will come. And really not just our neighbors to the west, but the whole metro area over the last several years, spending on homelessness has increased by millions and millions and millions of dollars. And the number of homeless residents has only increased. And that hasn't been just an issue here in the Denver metro area, but in cities all along the West Coast. And, I do think, and I appreciate Mayor Kaufman, his leadership, the approach. I think our approach here in Aurora is different, a work-first approach. I think that's much different than the approach that Denver's taking. And so I do appreciate that. And I think, I can presume I'm going to be in the minority here. I think this vote will be 9-1. That's what I expect, and I'm okay with that. But And so I think once this facility is operating, I do hope that it is more successful than what we have seen in Denver and in other cities. But I think that there are cheaper ways to accomplish housing for folks that we have abated camps. And so while I do appreciate we have a better, what I think is a better approach to homelessness, I'm not going to be supportive of this.
Further discussion?
Mayor?
Councilmember Bergen.
Yeah, I mean, I struggled with it as well. It's a lot of money, but most of the money is coming from a combination of different jurisdictions, from $15 million from the state, there's monies coming from Adams County, from Arapahoe County, from HUD funds, CDBG funds, and I believe Aurora's portion is $5 million. You know, when you're looking at how do we serve our homeless in the best way and not just give them a room for the night during cold weather, and then have them continue in the cycle that they experience. And this is what we have discussed for 2 years under Mayor Kaufman's leadership. And what do? If we are truly compassionate, we want to help those that are experiencing homelessness to be productive, to be able to overcome substance abuse disorders, to get mental health help, and eventually to transition into working and being a productive member of society. It's really cruel to see the conditions that they live in. So currently, there's resources for them for cold weather activation. We have some shelter, but not enough. This, in my opinion, seems to be a good solution for us to be able to look at some of the, for example, Colorado Springs Rescue Mission and their model, and it's been very successful in moving people out of that situation, and I think that's the hope. So for me, I have come to the decision to support this.
Further discussion?
Mayor.
Mayor
Pro Tem Zawalik.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. On council, in the 2 years I've been here, this is probably, I remember my first year was definitely one of the hot button issues that we heard a lot about. We passed the camping ban that year, and it's been an ongoing conversation. We visited Colorado Springs Rescue Mission. Some of us visited the Haven for Hope in San Antonio, and I know another group went out to Houston to look at their Housing First model. From the beginning, I've said that I think Housing First and going in that direction, and that's essentially what Denver is doing, is an abject failure. What we're looking at doing is completely different than Denver. This isn't money going just towards housing homeless. I believe that this navigation center will do a few things, the important things for our residents. The first thing is, when you talk about public safety, it allows us to aggressively enforce our camping ban and potentially look at ways to strengthen it, because we will have a place to offer every person who's on the sides of our roads or just beyond fence lines in neighborhoods. They pose a serious public safety concern for our residents. We heard it earlier tonight, and we need to ensure that we can enforce it, and this facility allows that. Secondly, I believe by having nonprofit partners who will ultimately operate this facility, and they'll be responsible for helping bring other nonprofit partners to the campus and for fundraising, it will allow us over time to lessen the amount of resources that the city spends on homeless services, which I believe is something that we ought to be aiming for in the long run. And finally, this is a better solution. The way that we plan to operate or have the operators operate the campus is one where the housing comes with conditions, and that's what's different than Denver. That's what's different than San Francisco, is that they play a game of hide the homeless, where they call it a success when they're taking people off the street and putting them into a room, and just because people can't see them, they call them housed. That's not compassion. We are going to have a navigation center that will allow people, whether you're a single mother that's escaping domestic abuse or you're an older veteran who suffered from substance abuse for many, many years, we are going to have programs that will help you towards self-sufficiency. That's what they do in Colorado Springs. It's a model that I think that we ought to hold ourselves to, and it's for that reason that I'm supporting this. This is not, and I know that Denver's going around buying a bunch of hotels, and people view that as we're doing the same thing. It's not. We have a different system, a different model, and an entirely different plan for this campus. And I know that in the coming weeks, we had in the past passed a resolution to direct staff for exactly how we want to see this campus operated. I'm going to bring forward another resolution to just make abundantly clear as we move forward that this is the direction that we want to see this campus run in order to better serve our community.
The Mayor Pro Tem and I met today to discuss him bringing forward another resolution with more specificity as to what the program component will be for this Navigation Resource Center. And it clearly has a lot of elements from the Colorado Springs Rescue Mission, but it also has some of the elements from the Ready to Work program. Further discussion.
Mayor.
Councilmember Coombs.
So I just want to clarify a couple of points. There will not be single mothers with children in this facility. There will be no families in this facility.
That's correct.
So this is not, we are spending these funds on a facility that does not include a plan to take care of our families that are experiencing homelessness, and the intention is also to redirect the existing marijuana funds away from the only program that does serve families in this city. And so that's concerning to me. We don't have a plan for families in this plan. So that's number one concern. And my second concern is that we're continuing to state that we are basing this on San Antonio and Colorado Springs, neither of which have seen a decrease in street homelessness in the times that they have had these programs in place. So we can tout all the success we want, but we will be following a model that does not decrease the street homelessness. So I am not supporting this.
Thank you. And I just want to say that the numbers in Colorado Springs are down, and thankful to the program that they have. Further discussion.
Mayor.
Councilmember Sundberg.
There was a news article, I think it was in the Gazette 10 months ago, indicating a rise in homelessness around the Denver metro area, like 38%. Only 2 counties experienced a decrease, and that was Arapahoe and Douglas County, for whatever it's worth. And then to put the cost of this in perspective, affordable housing projects in Aurora typically, depending on the number of units, cost between $30 and $50 million per affordable housing contract project. And we have got some wonderful affordable housing projects in Aurora, about 15 of them in the works right now. Walden 35 opened up a couple of months ago. You got Liberty View for senior veterans. So this thing is 25 to 26 million. We were planning on spending approximately 40 million and saved then about 15 million. So there is some cost savings, and as Councilmember Bergen pointed out, there is a cost sharing among a number of different entities, just to put the cost in perspective.
Further discussion. Seeing none, question before us is the adoption of item number 11A. Call for the question.
Councilmember Hancock? Thank you. The motion passes with 7 yes votes, 3 no votes from Councilmember Coombs, Gardner, and Medina.
Will clerk now please read the title to item number 14A?
Item 14A is consideration of ordinance 2023-69 for a zoning map amendment to rezone 5.0244 acres of land to medium-density residential district located at the northeast corner of Sable Boulevard and East Mount View Boulevard.
Motion is in order. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this a public?
Oh.
Okay.
Mayor, motion to approve 14A?
It's been moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by
Coombs.
Gardner.
Councilmember Gardner to approve item number 14A. Questions to staff? Seeing none, is there further discussion on the adoption of item number 14A? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number 14A.
The motion passes to adopt ordinance 2023-69.
Very well. Reports. I'll be holding a town hall meeting on Saturday at the Aurora History Museum at 2 o'clock. We'll be discussing a presentation by Aurora Police Department on different strategies that they're using to lower the crime rate. There'll be a presentation on the homelessness and where we are with those policies, and one on affordable housing as well. And I would like to reappoint to the Citizens Advisory Budget Committee Sunny Banca and Janet Marlowe. Let's see, got to get used to this order here. Councilmember Gardner.
No report.
Let's see, Councilmember Jurenski.
No report.
See, Councilmember Coombs.
Thank you, Mayor. So since we called for the question after people were questioning my judgment and my trustworthiness, and I was not given an opportunity to defend myself, I will take that opportunity now. My child has been on the dais 2 entire times in the 2 years that they have been alive. And one of them was on the day of my swearing in when I brought them for a special event. And the only time during that meeting that they were screaming was when I tried to give them to someone else at the recommendation of Councilmember Jurenski. They were not screaming. I understand that they were babbling and grabbing things, and I, again, do not bring them to meetings for that reason. It was a special event, a swearing in. That was something that I thought was appropriate as a mother to share with my child. And I did try to comply with my colleague's request to remove my child from the dais. That was more disruptive and more difficult for both myself and them. And that is why I brought them back up. I, again, agreed to not have them at future meetings. And I think it's incredibly unfair to say that choosing to bring your child to a special event is poor judgment, disrespectful, and untrustworthy behavior. I think it's a lot of people bring their children to things like swearing in, and when it's men doing it, there's never a question.
Mayor Pro Tem Savanik.
No report.
Let's see, Councilmember Murillo.
Thanks, Mayor. I have my town hall this Thursday from 6 to 7 at the MLK Library. And to Councilmember Coombs's point, I'm sorry that you didn't get an opportunity to speak about your experience as a mother. I agree that was an unfair, I supported the closed debate because I felt like we were starting to get into uncomfortable territory of talking about how people should or should not parent, and I just didn't want to continue to open the door and create further unproductive and unhealthy debate. So I apologize, and I hadn't considered your perspective in that. But you're absolutely right. You should have had the opportunity to say something.
Councilmember Sundberg.
No report, sir.
Councilmember Medina.
No report, sir.
Let's see,
Hancock.
who am I missing?
Hancock.
Oh, Councilmember Hancock. No, I'm in trouble. Look at that look. Whoa. I hope I can live it down.
No report, Mayor.
I do have a gavel. Okay, Councilmember Lawson.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Just to give just a short update on the Federal, State, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, Governor Polis gave the State of the Address on January 11th and highlighted several priorities, including housing affordability, transit-oriented communities, income tax reform, and economic growth. Federally, President Biden signed a stopgap measure to fund the government through the beginning of March into law. On Friday, the White House said avoiding a partial shutdown as lawmakers continue working to pass a broader spending deal. And I just want to say my second I was about to say at large, Ward 5 meeting will be at the Central Rec Center on Thursday, the 25th. We will be discussing the topics that we did at the Heather Gardens on the 13th, which is the I-225 homelessness encampments, and also to talk about Ward 5 crime and other questions regarding crime in the city. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you, Mayor. lot happening in the last couple of weeks. I had my Planning and Economic Development Policy Committee, also attended the E470 Executive Board and Board meeting, as well as the Opioid Region 9 meeting. And then we also had, on another day, the subcommittee work. I'm chair of the Detox Walk-In Crisis Center for Opioid Region 9. And then had my town hall last Wednesday, very well attended. Appreciate everyone that came out for it. I did kind of a Government 101, or City Government 101, and then also had Lynn Center there from our Public Works Department, as well as our PAR officers and representatives from the Fire Department. Also attended the Celebration of Life for Mayor Kathy Noon that passed away in December. And the mayor and I were at the meet and greet for the mayor and council from the city of Sangnam, South Korea. A very nice ceremony. And then also on Friday morning, the mayor and I were at the MLK Interfaith prayer breakfast, and we had Poonam and her husband as the keynote speakers. She owns Poonam Designs in the Southlands area. So that's it for me. Thank you.
I see no further business before the Aurora City Council. This meeting is adjourned.